Forward. Welcome back to another episode. Ryan here with Chaos MMA, and today we have on Danny, the Colombian warrior. Chavez. Danny, how you doing, man?
Hey man, how you doing? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Great night of fights last night. I'm sure you caught your teammate Colby Covington going out there, putting on a dominant performance for 5 straight rounds. What did you think of that performance last night?
It was great. Being such a emotional fight. Because it was a very emotional fight. A lot of these emotional fights don't play out the way you think. You know what I mean? Um, to me, it was a great fight, and it was exactly what people would think it was going to happen. Madida was going to go and trying to find the range, trying to find the big shot, be slick, be clever. Kobe was going to make it more of a dog fight, a lot of pressure, and of course he was going to use his wrestling. And I thought he did a great job. You know, they both came with a game plan. One got executed better than the other. That's what happened.
Yeah, and throughout Colby's training camp, I'm sure you saw him training and everything. How'd that go for him? Was it like a amazing training camp for him? Because we just saw like a dominant performance last night.
Well, what I see from him a lot is because when you get ready for fights, you have about 2 to 3 training partners, maybe two. You don't really train with a whole entire team because you have to copy. You need the same amount, kind of like the same height, same body
Yeah.
that you're gonna fight against. You know what I mean? Somebody that could actually like be similar, at least with range and or body frame or the style they fight. I was like, you need to mimic the person you're fighting. So he was always training with like my friend Colin, and sometimes he would train with my friend Richard. They were like the main training partners. And the one thing I saw from him was consistency. He's just always at the gym. You know what I mean? Every day he's there. He does his training. He does his conditioning. You know what I mean? It's just consistency. That's one thing I do. I'll give him. Of course, he trains hard. I believe almost every fighter trains hard. You know what I mean? You got the one that slack. That's their problem. But most of the fighters, especially if you're one of the great ones, do train hard. I'll bet you Masvidal train hard. You know what I mean? Everybody trains hard. So I believe when you're at the highest level, unless you just don't care, or you're losing some of that fire, or maybe you don't train as hard, but everybody trains hard. It's just how consistent are you? Because you could be the kind of guy that comes to the gym 3 times a week and train hard, but it's only 3 times a week.
Yeah.
But you got that guy that comes every day. You know what I mean? You got that guy that, even if he's not going to train hard that day, he's at the gym doing drills, working on a technique. That's what I'm saying, consistency. He's very consistent. I'll give him that. He's just very consistent what he does.
Yeah, no doubt. It was a great night, and it seems like he's in a much better environment at MMA Masters now. Besides ATT, it seemed like a lot of stuff was going on at ATT. We found out throughout this week. But for you right now, man, you don't have a fight booked right now. But how's training right now? Is it different, like when you don't have a fight booked, or is it just the same thing? You're just constantly going and going. How's training been for you so far?
Well, I was actually, I fought 4 fights in 1 year. So I was actually like, I'm always going to train. That's always been, especially I made it to the UFC. Once you make it to the UFC, I think that's when you have to drop your 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Like, it don't matter if the job is good, and you're not supposed to. But I threw all my chips into my career. So ever since I made it to the UFC, I quit working. All I do is train, and I just put my time in this. That's all I do. You know. And at one point, I was training for fights only. I wasn't just training anymore. Like I'll get off a fight and I'll be training, getting ready for another fight. And then, like for example, I fought on during the COVID against DJ Brown in August.
Yeah.
Then I was going to train to fight December, but then I caught COVID. So then when I finally came back from COVID, I took a fight against Jared Gordon in February. Then I fought him. Then I kind of hurt my foot on that fight. I got the green light from the doctor to go back to training, and I signed another contract, and I fought Kai Kamaka. And I got hurt through that fight too. So I'm always like, as soon as I'm good, I'm ready to get in the gym, train, and fight. But this is the first time I told myself, and my coaches told me, just recover 100%. Don't just, as soon as you get the green light from the doctor, catch a fight. He's like, get the green light from the doctor, take about a few weeks, probably a month, and then we'll get a fight. they told me warm up the body, warm up, enjoy training sometimes. You know what I mean? You're just getting ready to train to fight, train to fight, train to fight, which I like to be active. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah.
like to stay active. But I told myself, I'm like, you know what? Let me just take like at least let me just recover 100%. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna ever fight 100%, but I
Yeah.
should not be hurt during off season. You know what I mean? It's different. Look, when you get ready for a fight, I get hurt here and there. It happens. Little things happen. But you could pull through it and still fight. That's fine. But you should never start camp hurt.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna get hurt through the camp. This is a tough sport, and sometimes a takedown hurt you a little bit by the rib, or you know what? A good wrestling day, the next day you wake up with like your lower back is too tight. It's hurt. Those things happen through the camp, and you could push through those pains and fight. Sometimes it could be major pains, and you still could like pull through and fight. But you should not start camp like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all I did was trying to take what I had is in the Kaikamaka fight. I hurt one of my tendons through my. It was a ligament that goes through my ankle,
Oh wow.
and I was told that I couldn't kick. I couldn't do my calf kick. I couldn't kick for a long time. I was just going to rehab. They were just massaging it, putting tape, putting this stem thing, whatever. It's like electricity on my foot. And due to recovery, now I finally could like I feel fine. So I told myself the whole 2021, the rest of 2021, I was just gonna take a break and hold on. My dog is playing with the toy. The whole 2021, the rest of 2021, I was gonna use it to recover from the foot and just recover my body and enjoy training for a little bit. We already made the call. We're just waiting. I'm already good. I'm good to fight. As soon as 2022 started, I called my manager. I'm like, yo, let them know I'm ready. I'm ready to go. So literally, I'm just waiting for them to call me and tell me I'm looking for. I personally told them if they want me to like give a day, I'm looking for May,
Man, okay.
late April, early May, middle May. But I think they're already booked. You have to understand that the UFC they
Yeah.
book fights like this,
Yeah.
so they're not gonna be waiting for me to say what I want to say. Maybe I fight June, maybe maybe a little sooner, maybe it's actually a little later. I don't know. I just gotta wait for them to give me a call, but I'm ready to go already.
No doubt. And I'm sure that probably helps a lot, waiting for the green light and taking a few weeks. Because I'm sure when you're healthy in training camp, that goes much better for you. And then for your fight, you get in there 100%. We're gonna see the best Danny Chavez. Am I right on that?
You're right, but it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Believe it or not, my best performances has came from me having a great camp. Not, but like I said, you always have something that bothers you.
Yeah.
Like I went for a takedown and I hurt my finger, and I'm like, damn, in 2 weeks and I hurt my finger. What the hell, but that's been my best performances. When I go with like something, like I said, the camp went 100% in the sense that I was able to train everything, but
Yeah.
you always get something, like just something happens, like, or 4 weeks before a fight, someone guillotine you and they give you a stiff neck. So
Oh,
you couldn't train for like 4 days. You know what I mean? Like things like that happen through camps. But believe it or not, when I go through those kind of camps, I have a great performance. When I have like those 100% healthy camps, healthy everything, it goes the other way. It's
yeah.
weird. It's
Yeah.
weird, man. I don't know, but like what I like to say is, when I mean healthy, I mean not a major injury.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't want to go where like I twist my ankle last week. You know what I mean? Something like that where I'm actually can't really be stepping in and out so well. Like like I said, there is certain injuries you could go into a fight and still perform and be 100% and perform great. But there is injuries that it limits you a lot, and you don't want to punk out of the fight. You sign the contract, and you just feel like saying like I gotta do it.
Yeah.
Those are the injuries you want to go through, like herniated disc, or number one thing, knees. You know what I mean? Like some
Yeah.
people will hurt their knees a week before, a week and a half before. You know what I mean? Or pull a hamstring, a very bad hamstring pull. It could really mess up the fight a lot. You know what I mean? those are the things that I always say. I hope I make it healthy to a fight. But like having like nagging pain, like little bruises, oh, that's gonna happen because you're training hard. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely a brutal sport, and it definitely seems like it's hard to get through training camp without any of like injuries or anything simple. And how about your last fight? A lot of things went on. You're scheduled to fight an opponent, then you hear, oh, the fight's off. You're then fighting Kai Kamaka. What is going through your mind when this is all happening? Because like this, like we're saying, this is the sport. Your injuries, opponents can change at any moment. So what's going through your head when this is all happening?
Well, actually, I got the news. I was at this grappling tournament. I
Okay.
was coaching my students at the time. I teach jiu-jitsu in my gym, so I was coaching them, and I get a call from my manager, and he told me, "Yo, he was calling me for something else. He was just calling me for I think something about the emails that UFC had emailed me something, whatever." Then he called me like 10 minutes later, so I thought he was calling me again to talk about that again. And then he's like, "Oh, I was gonna tell you, what's it called? The whole Choi got hurt."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What do you mean he got hurt?" And he's like, "Yeah, the whole Choi got hurt." And I'm like, "Oh, and I'm in the moment in the tournament. So I'll be honest, at one point I'm like, I was like, I was so excited coaching my students, and it just kind of like took some of the excitement away.
Yeah.
So I'm like serious now. I'm like a little bit more serious. I'm still coaching, I'm still focused, but now like my attitude went from like having fun to like serious now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I shook it off and I just kept doing my thing. And the thing about that is it's not that much the it is what it is. Look, I mean, I'm a well-rounded fighter. I train everything.
Yeah.
Even if I train for a striker, I wrestle. Even if I train for a wrestler, I wrestle. I don't just train for a wrestler to just play defensive wrestling. I'll go and take down a wrestler too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I train everything, so I'm ready for whatever change it happens. What you want to know is that you're gonna have somebody or not. You know what I mean? And you want to know at least a little bit earlier to you could at least game plan just this
Yeah.
much. Just this much.
I know.
Now, when I got Kai Kamaka, I didn't mind the matchup because the game plan stayed the same. The difference is that they throw different, it's a different style.
Yeah.
Doho Choi is a little bit more of a, he'll put pressure, but he counters more, and he has a long right hand.
Right. Yep.
Kai Kamaka likes to throw hooks, and he throws his right hand too, but he likes to throw his hooks, you know what I mean, when people come in. Doho Choi is a little bit more uppercuts, crosses, kicks, and he has a little bit more of a karate white stance, you know what I mean? Kamaka is a little bit more traditional striker stance, a little bit more square. And but believe it or not, at the end of the day, the fight played out differently. I trained for Kai Kamaka for a guy that was gonna put pressure and throw hooks, and it wasn't like that, man. Kai Kamaka stayed in the outside. He didn't really engage as much as I thought. All he did was kick my calf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He kicked my calf. I give him props. That is my shit. But he got me on. He got me with it. I'll be honest, 100%. I didn't think he was gonna come in just trying to throw calf kicks. I really thought he was gonna come and box me. And I was ready for his boxing. I was ready for those hooks and those right hands coming. And I was ready for him to walk me backwards. And it didn't happen. It was more like in and out, me and him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll go in and out. Sometimes I'll go in and out. But I was expecting someone like, bro, if you see Kai Kamaka fight before, he puts a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
He makes you walk backwards a lot. You know what I mean? It wasn't really like that. I don't know if, look, I don't fight myself. I don't know what it is me facing myself in front of I don't know what is me fighting Danny Chavez. All I know is what I could do to people, but I don't know how they feel when I'm across them. I don't know. I use a lot of my feints. I blitz really fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if that really played a factor. That's why he didn't engage so much. But I was ready for a guy that did engage. So the fight played out different than I expected. The eye poke didn't help either. The the groin shot didn't help either. But those are like that didn't really play such a big factor. I'll be honest. As soon as I was able to open my eye, I was good to fight. But the change of opponent, the only thing that really bothers you sometimes is not knowing, not be able to prepare just at least this much.
Yeah. But in a sense, I know you don't want that change in opponents, but in a sense, when you got the call, it was Kamaka. Did it help in a sense that it wasn't a wrestler because you were training for like a striker, someone you're going to stand with, and say like this was like 2 weeks before the fight, right? Or something. So like if it was a grappler, it would be like a whole different game plan with only like 2 weeks go. Or does that not even matter to you? Because like you said, you're training everything. But did it help in a sense? It was a striker kind of still?
Well, no, because Kaikamaka does have wrestling background. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He does have a wrestling background, and he was a strong guy. If you compare both of them, you think um, Doho Choi is more like a speed. He knows how to snap, and he got a good speed and good snap, and he kind of like slick. You know, he's
Yeah.
kind of like a agile. Kamaka's strong. You know what I mean? Kamaka's strong. So at the end of the day, even though I wanted to strike with Doho Choi, we grapple for Doho Choi too.
Yeah.
You never know. And I've been working on my jiu-jitsu a lot. Like I'm a black belt jiu-jitsu. I started with jiu-jitsu. I'm known as a striker now, but I started my career when you follow me back when I first started my first 6 years fighting professionally. Um, you will see that my striking will help me to take people to the ground. But I was taking people to the ground. At one point, I was out wrestling people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My style changed. I found more success striking and kind of like playing defense.
Yeah.
I'll take you down if I have to, if I feel like the opportunity is there to give you something else to think about. But when I first started my career, I started like following a lot like George St. Pierre, and I kind of thought like I kind of like that style where you
Out.
strike. You could be such a good striker, but you could hide your takedowns because you're that much of a good striker. So I was kind of like doing a lot of that, and coming from my coach Daniel Valverde, we have such a great jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
We have such a great way of controlling people on the ground. So we started using that at the beginning of my career a lot. You know what I mean? Even though I got kickboxing background, I did 3 amateur kickboxing fights. I started with jiu-jitsu. I started with doing nagas and new breeds and all those grappling tournaments out there. That's how I started my career.
Yeah.
It's just that at one point I found success striking and kind of like making these guys, forcing these guys to take me down, not letting them, and sometimes reversing them, putting them in their bag,
Yeah.
making them think so. And in control, I got great, like I said, I got great ground, great jiu-jitsu. The thing is that sometimes you have to know where you want to use your energy. If I say striking and just want to throw power punches, I'm gonna get a little tired too. If I just want to grind and take somebody down, that gets you a little tired too. It's how you use your energy through the fight. You know what I mean? And that's how it really plays out. You know what I mean? The game plan so that's why for me, Kaikamaka was gonna be the same thing because I was gonna go into a fight and I was gonna grapple anyways.
Yeah. And
I
you
was gonna
said,
go to the hotel and I was gonna grapple. Even if I was catching him striking,
yeah.
I'll be honest, man. I'm missing that submission in my resume. I got my knockouts, I got decisions, I got draws, I got what I mean, I got everything. I gotta get a submission, man. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. How can I not have a submission?
I mean, you're training. We've been hearing about it. You're training with Daniel Valverde, one of the best in the business. I'm sure it's going to come eventually. And like you were saying, mixing it in, the takedown, the striking, making their opponent think about it. Like we saw in the post-fight press conference last night, Masvidal was saying, like, I was just thinking about when he's going to shoot. And he was with the striking, he kept hitting him. He didn't know when he was going to shoot, so it was hard to predict. And you said that. So if you're getting these guys thinking, like, when's he going to shoot? When's he going to shoot? You're just going to be constantly making them think during the fight and winning throughout the whole fight, kind of like that, right?
And vice versa could go either way. Now, since they think since I could strike and I could be, like I said, I could blitz really hard,
Yeah.
it makes them not be so aware of the takedown, so the takedown comes in easier too. If you could take someone down, that makes it so aware of the takedown, it doesn't allow them to strike so well. But it goes the opposite the other way too. If I could strike so well against you, my takedowns will come in easier too. So it plays both ways.
No doubt. And how about that fight? It was a majority draw. Did you feel the judges made the right call on this? Like we know with draws in the sport, after the decision was now, like you both looked upset, and you said we got to do it again. So how did you all feel about this when you hear majority decision? What did you think about that?
I'll be honest because I'm not gonna be. I like to be honest.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
because it's me, I'll be honest about it. I felt like either it was a draw or I thought I outpointed him by a little bit.
yeah,
A draw because I won the first round, he won the second one, even though it was a point deduction, he won that second one. And I thought the third one was very even. I thought that, yes, he controlled me against the cage, but nothing happened. He was eating my elbows. That's the most thing that happened. It was me putting him in a kimura, trying to flip him. He got it back. He almost took me down. I still didn't let myself get taken down. And he gave me like 2, 3 stumps on my foot.
Yeah.
But I believe in the damage part, those elbows really hurt him. Not saying he got wobbled or anything, but that's damage.
Yeah, that is.
Him putting me in the wall is not damage. You know what I mean? And then when we got off the wall, when we finally separated, I was the one that was coming after him. I came in with the punches. I came in for a takedown. I couldn't get it. And then we separated, and I still came after him. And that's how the round ended. Me coming after him. It was a little sloppy. We were both at the end of the round, but it was me coming after him.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the fight. You know what I'm trying to say? And nothing was really made. No, nobody did something great, crazy in the third round. But I felt like I was looking for the fight. So I thought I should have edged it. And if you look at the judges' scorecards, one judge had me losing, regardless. The other judge had me winning the first one, second one point deduction, so it was the same round, and losing the third. Another judge had me losing the first and winning the third. So it's like those 2 rounds are so cool. But I felt like the first one was mine. I landed the better kicks. I landed the takedown because I took him down in the first round with a double leg. You know what I mean? He turned around, I took his back, and then he turned around and we separated. But I got the best out of that moment. You know what I mean? And I just felt the first one wasn't that much. It was more like a couple of kicks, a couple of punches, and the takedown came from me. So I should have won the first round. Second round, it was going here and there, but then the whole eye poke, I get the eye poke, all that happened. But even though I was coming after him, he did land a couple of better shots and better kicks. I give him that. He got the second round. And then the third one, I just explained it to you already. Like, so I felt like the draw was fair. But if, like I said, either the draw or I would have taken the win by like the points. By like I said, the third round, Kamaka's out there saying he won. He's such a little baby. He complains too much. He complained about the same thing about the TJ Brown fight. You know what I mean? I just feel like that third round, you gotta want to show that you want to be in the fight.
Yeah.
And like I said, even though we both were a little tired and we separated from the clinch, he never came after me. I came after him. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I think the intention matters. That's why probably he's not in the roster anymore. They saw that he's not that guy that does that. You know what I mean? Or he just recently fought John De Jesus. John De Jesus is somebody I fought early in my career, and I beat John De Jesus all 3 rounds easily.
Yeah.
He got rocked in that second round by John De Jesus. Almost got finished, and John, I did call he was gonna win that fight because of his wrestling, and because I know John De Jesus. I fought him too. I knew John De Jesus doesn't have really good. He doesn't do well with guys that could actually just take him down and stay there and position themselves with. He does bad against them. So I knew Kamaka was gonna win that, but I knew he was gonna get cracked like that in the second round. So, but whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't like people that. It is what it is, man. Just be honest about the fight. I'm honest about the fight. I'm being honest with you right now about the fight. Hey, man, I think the draw was fair thing. I do believe I won the first, draw the second, and third, it went either way. He did control me more, but I feel like I went after him more. So,
Yeah, it's like you should be honest, like you're saying, right after the fight instead of him complaining and everything. And like with these judges and stuff, like it's tough with them because you think you win a round, and then they just think judge it on something else, and they think the other guy went around. Like you never know with these guys. So like, what do you think about all that with the judges scoring rounds for the other guy and you win that round? What do you think about all that?
Oh man, that sucks. It's just like any sport. When you watch any sport, I watch a lot of sports. I watch basketball, football, soccer. I watch all of that, and you see referee making calls. And you be like, oh, but he was wrong. That happens. You know what I mean? That's just part of those sports. Sports always gonna have those obstacles. You know what I mean? But in fighting, I feel like this a little easier to fix because these officials of NBA, NFL, they study that game. And what happens is that things happen so fast. Sometimes you don't get to see certain foul calls. It's understandable. That's understandable. But when you're in a fight, when you're watching the UFC fight, you get to see almost every angle of the fight. You
Literally.
see the cleanest production out
Yeah.
there. Like you see everything that's happening. So for you not to make the right call, it's kind of like a little off sometimes. And I believe that happens a lot because of inexperience.
Yep.
Unexperienced judges out there. Who are they? You know, a lot of these people are boxing, and some of them are boxing judges. What do you know about takedowns? What do you know about submissions? What do you know about pace? What do you know about baiting someone? What do you know? Like baiting someone for a takedown, or sometimes they see a guy that goes for 3 takedowns and misses all 3 of them, but the striking is even. Who you give the fight to? I give it to a guy that was offensive. Yes, you stopped the takedowns, but you were defending. This guy's being offensive. That's just my take. A lot of people don't look at it like that sometimes. You know what I mean? A
Yeah.
lot of people look at it like, oh my God, look, he stopped his takedowns. Yes, but it's like me throwing punches, you blocking, but you're running backwards. I'm the one throwing punches. You're not throwing anything. You know what I mean? Unless you make me miss and you hit me back, boom, then you're okay, you're countering, But like I think like some of these judges just don't know nothing about this sport. And that's the problem. And but what you have to know is that we know that going into the sport, we know this already. This is not the first time we hear this about the judges. So one, the commission should fix it, and two, us as fighters, we know what we're going into. So you gotta win the rounds.
Ye-
Even like you said, even sometimes you did win the round. The judges didn't see it that way. I just the most famous word. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I spoke to someone last week we were talking about it, and they said maybe have someone, former fighters, judge the fights, get some of them in or something. Some people with experience know what they're talking about. They've been in there before, maybe, instead of these people never been in there before, don't really study the sport as much as, say, like these other sports like the NFL and stuff. What do you think about that? Maybe getting someone in who has that experience.
But the problem is, okay, you want to have fighters, but they gotta have that as a job. You know what I mean? Are they
Yeah.
really gonna be? Are they really gonna work like that? Because if they do go for it, is that they should be the ones judging fights. But what I'm saying is like, they're gonna have to travel and is remember a lot of these judges don't just judge UFC fights. They go judge a lot of other fights. They go to Bellator fights. They go to LFA fights. Smaller promotion fights. This is a boxing commission.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So are they gonna be willing to do all the traveling and just have this as a job? Because that's the thing. I'm not saying for fighters to just do it one time here and there whenever they feel like it. It's a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you gotta take that as a job. So every event they're gonna be calling you and telling you, "Yo, we need you to judge this fight. Or you need to come. You're gonna have to be available." So as long as fighters are available, they should be because I'm tired. Like I said, at one point I remember reading back in the day they said that the reason why they have people that don't involve in fighting, judging fights, because you get more of an objective view. They
Okay.
say because the fighter who sometimes not like that fighter as a fighter. Like for example,
Yeah.
Kobe could just have a judge as a former fighter that just doesn't like the way Kobe does things. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? As a fighter, in personality. So we judge against them most of all. You
Yeah.
don't want fighters to have grudges against another fighters and then they mess up their scorecards. But and at the same time, they say that fighters may want to see a fight the way they used to fight. You know what I mean? Like if Khabib will see it more, like the guy that gets a takedown will get more points than the
Yep.
guy that's striking. So you don't want that. But at the same time, I'm like, a fan could be the same thing. A fan could like fights just to be striking. A fan could find the
Sure.
ground boring. And I mean, like those judges will be partly are fans of the sport. If not, they wouldn't be working on there.
Yes.
So some of these judges are fans, and partly they like to see fights differently. So they judge it based on their opinion too. So that's what I'm saying. So I would trust at the end of the day, I would trust more the fighter,
Yeah.
the former fighter, the
Yeah.
guy that has been in the mat, understands the submissions, understands the positions, understands pace, understands damage over point punches or point kicks. You're completely different throwing a couple like 4, 5. You could kick me 5 times, but we're point kicks. I give you 2 big ass calf kicks. That should count more. I giving you
More.
damage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm really hurting you compared to like these little point kicks, point punches. But like I said, this is something that is, you know, it's been everybody's, even Dana White's been complaining about this,
I know,
and it
literally.
hasn't been fixed. So right now is people just gotta deal with it. It is what it is.
Yeah, you made a ton of good points. Hopefully one day it gets fixed, But last thing here, thanks for taking the time again.
No, anytime, bro. Anytime.
Yeah. You said late April, maybe May. You said it's kind of booked already. What would you think about potentially coming back and fighting on the June pay-per-view with Glover Teixeira and Yuri Prohashka headlining that? Would you want to be on card like that?
Yeah, yeah. Where is that? When is that? When is that? June 7th, where?
It's like June something. They don't have an official date. I think they're trying for Singapore or something. I don't know. I don't know if they have an official like place yet though. That's the thing. I'm not sure yet.
Singapore, I have to, that means I have to travel out of the country, right?
Yeah, that would be out of the country. Would you have any interest in that, or you want to stay in
I
the
wouldn't
US?
mind. I don't mind traveling out there. 'Cause look, man, I'm about to go to my fourth fight in the
Yeah.
contract. And one thing I do want to do is because this is a very big important fight for me. This is my fourth fight. I'm 1-1-1. My record is 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw. I need to win this fight. You know what I mean? I need to win this fight. I want to stay. Like I told my manager, I'm trying to retire in the UFC. I'm not trying to go anywhere. You know, but I need to win this fight. And at the same time, I feel like all my fights have been already at the apex, no crowds.
Yeah.
Even the one I fought before I made it to UFC, I fought in Tampa. That's the fight that got me in the UFC is when I fought in Tampa for the Global Legion title, and I won in the first round. But I didn't have a crowd either.
Yeah.
We were not allowed to have an audience. So I didn't have a crowd for that fight. I didn't have a crowd for the TJ Brown. I didn't have a crowd for the Jerry Gordon. I didn't have a crowd for Kai Kamaka. I want a crowd, man. Like
I
I
know.
saw yesterday. I was, my brother went yesterday to Vegas with my friends. A couple
Yeah.
of my friends, they went to Vegas to go watch Kobe, and they were, showing the arena, and I was like, man,
I know.
coming out to that crowd, those 19, 15, it don't matter, it depends. I'm not gonna probably be in the main card, even if I'm in the prelims. I still will have 3,000 to 5,000 people at that moment, before the arena gets fully crowded. But just be at the end of the day, having to walk. I only walked out to probably I sell like about 150, 200 tickets in Miami when I used to fight, and whatever everybody in the card. So technically, I came out to 400 or 500 people the most.
Okay.
And since 150 to 200 were mine, it gets a little loud, it gets a little good for me.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine 5,000 or 5,000 drunk ass fans screaming, going crazy. Man, that has to be fire. You know what I mean?
I
It's,
know.
of course, some of it will be my people's. But it would be better if it's not in Singapore. It would be better if it would be here in the United States, so people could travel more. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? My family and friends would probably travel. Like I would have loved if it would have been in Jacksonville. I would have
Yeah.
loved it would have been Orlando.
Yeah.
Come to Miami. Oh man, come to Miami.
I know.
Fuck. I was. It comes to Miami. I'm telling you right now. All my friends from high school, middle school, they're all gonna go. You know what I mean? It's gonna. Oof. I worked in many jobs here in Miami growing up. All my ex-coworkers. I have a big following here. Like I said, just me fighting here, I sell about 200 tickets.
Yeah.
Saying that I'm gonna fight in the UFC in Miami, oh my God, I'm gonna sell a lot. All eyes on me right there too.
Yeah. Man, I'm sure if it's in Miami, you get all those people coming for you. I'm sure that'd be an amazing experience to have, all everyone cheering you on. Like even all the other people you don't even know, the fans cheering. I'm sure that would be an amazing experience for you. I hope you get it. I really do, and I think you will. And once again, thanks for coming on. It was great speaking with you. If you want to thank any sponsors, shout out anything, social media, anything, the floor is yours, man.
Hey man, thank you very much. Hey man, just shout out to everybody out there. You know what I mean? Everybody that's following, everybody that has been following me from the beginning. You know what I mean? I like loyal fans, loyal people around me. You know what I mean? Shout out to my manager Antonio, always hooking it up. Shout out to my team and masters. My coaches. We did an amazing job yesterday. Shout out to my sponsors. I got a couple of sponsors, but I'm just gonna say sponsors. You know what I mean? Y'all know who you are. Thank you very much. A little message, hope everything gets fixed in Ukraine, going through a lot of tough times. And, I just want to say people out there, you know, let's be aware of what's going on over there. Let's just stop with the political things. You know what I mean? I see a lot of people right now trying to be right about, I was right about Trump.
Yeah.
Biden's not doing anything. It's not about that. he's not the president anymore. Leave it alone. It's not about that. It's about the people that are suffering over there in Ukraine, you know, unfairly, going through a lot of shit in life right now. And everybody just think about, some people are making memes about it. And it's crazy, man. Like, this is not time for memes. This is not time for you to prove that Trump was right and Biden was wrong, man. It's about bringing awareness of what's going on, and, like, hope all these other countries, at the end of the day, I hope it doesn't, things get resolved, period.
Yeah.
I don't want things to get in, countries get involved and becomes a World War III. We're not trying to have that, you know what I mean? So I hope things get resolved, and, man, we need to live in peace, man. I'm getting older. I don't need to be. I don't need to be on this shit, man. I'm just trying to make it in my career and live a happy life.
Yeah, I hope it gets better. It's terrible what's going on over there right now. I hope it all gets better over there. And yeah, thanks again for coming on. It was great speaking with
Oh,
you. And
man.
we'll talk
No,
soon.
man.
Thanks again, man.
Hey, no, for sure. Anytime, man. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
have a good one. Peace out, man.
Hey, peace out.